Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Northside Plow with Pop One Podcast, here with another deck profile from my boy TJ Combo. He went and topped the New Orleans region. Well, it was actually right outside of New Orleans.
Yeah, I was in Kenner.
Kenner, which Pandemonium Gaming, shout out them. But my boys Combo and Larry went out there, and they both topped. Before we get into it, you got any shout outs, man?
We'll kind of go through shoutouts through the deck profile,
Okay.
but I was able to get a couple cards from people and suggestions on how to put the deck together and things like that.
Very cool. Well, let's get right into it.
All right, so we ended up playing TENPAI at the regional.
All right.
I was not the only one there doing it, but yeah. So some of these will be straightforward. Some of the way that I like playing the deck's a little bit different. Really weird. So we'll start with the 3 Hydra. I think I need to turn it
The
this
expensive supers.
way. Yeah. So Hydra just lets you search the spells and all that. We'll get to those in a bit. 3 Chandra. At start of battle step, you can summon one of the other dragons. There's the green one, Fadra. As far as specific things about them, when the white one's on the field, I take no battle damage. This one just summons, and then this keeps my monsters from being destroyed.
Okay.
So they have kind of continuous effects after that. Then as far as the spells, we have the 3 summoning. Miscellaneous Swords as a field spell is just ridiculous. And that's usually the hard card. There were a couple times that I would activate one, people would try to get rid of it with like Cosmic Cyclone or Ghost Ogre or something like that. And then I just activate the second one I had in hand to use the protection for that. Then we have the 3 Song and Kaimen. What that basically is during the battle phase or during main phase, you can add a TENPAI from deck to hand. If it's during the battle phase, you can also special summon a fire dragon. There were actually a few times that I did this during the main phase, which some people were kind of surprised about.
Okay.
That's as far as the engine, all 14 cards. As far as other like tech consistency cards, we have 1 Magnamut, which is for searching any dragon. The reason why I ended up losing my last game was because I did not fully resolve Magma Hunt. I was very embarrassed by that. By the time I caught it, it was already like accepted game state. So if y'all take nothing else from this, fully resolve Magma Hunt. That's the lesson for today. And we also have the Blaster and the Gold Sark.
Okay.
Gold Sark is in here for banishing Blaster. When Blaster is banished, you can add a Fire Dragon from deck to hand. So it's just another kind of like Rhoda sort of card.
Very nice.
And so then we also have Terraforming for searching the field spell.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward. 3 Pot of Prosperity. As a lot of people know, this deck can still kill your opponent under Prosperity. It's really dumb that it can, but it's also kind of fun when you're able to do it, if you're the person playing the deck.
Yeah.
Now we go into the hand traps. I'm not doing as big of a hand trap build as some other decks do. So we have 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, the 1 Ghost Ogre, which was mainly in here as a cross-out target, but it also came up as just a regular card to use.
Nice.
Shoutouts to Troy for suggesting that, because I had 2 different deck lists, and I was like, well, do I do Ghost Ogre or Druid Worm? And he's like, no, like use this, because it's also for the cross-out, but it also has its own utility, and it actually came up a couple times.
Very nice.
And then last of the hand traps, we have 3 Imperm.
All reliable.
Yep. And that is it. There are other builds that run a lot more hand traps.
Yeah.
So like your Ghost Mourners or your Nibirus and stuff like that. I don't have, or I'm not running the Mourners. I have Nibs in the side. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
But a lot of the build that I like playing is kind of more of a mix between hand traps and board breakers. So we'll start with those. So we got 2 talents.
Yep.
For punishing anyone trying to hand trap me or trying to like get rid of the field spell, anything like that. 2 Droplet.
Okay.
I'm thinking about bumping up to 3. I'm not sure. I'm very unlucky when it comes to cards like that, so I'll end up with 2 of them in hand.
Yeah.
2 Crossout.
Good card.
Which I am borrowing from a friend of mine. This came up a couple times. It's just good for when you're pushing at the end. And so if you're trying to get your field spell to resolve or anything like that, you can cross out the Ash, Veiler, Imperm, that kind of thing if you're at just an odd spot. But then also, if you happen to Ash or cross out an Ash or a Veiler, you can then triple Tactics Talent them and just take something out of their hand. Or draw 2 cards if you need to.
Yeah.
Which actually came up. There was one time where someone had an additional interruption. I just put it back and then we kept going. And the last of the board breakers, we have 2 Lightning Storm and a Duster.
Okay.
It's always just kind of satisfying when it's the top deck when you're going second. You're just, okay, this one, now we go.
Definitely.
So that is the main deck. That is all 40. Now to the extra deck. A lot of the extra deck will be kind of straightforward. Some stuff I have cut since then because it never came up. We're going to start with the Link Monsters. We have 1 Hieratic Seal. That can be, that's your, my opponent made me go first, so I guess we're doing this. Some builds run 2. I'm cutting 2 things out of the extra deck, and this is going to go up to 2, because it may come up, I don't know. We also have the Link Climbing OTK package. Never had to go into this, but it was here on the off chance that I got Dimensional Barrier or something like that.
Alright.
We have an Ancient Fairy Dragon. This is for getting your field spell. I have an additional field spell in the side deck that we'll get to. And then for the regional, I was running the Tzolk'in package.
Okay.
I never went into it. These 2 are going to get cut just because I would try to do it, and then this got Ash, and I didn't get any farther than that. So I just ended up using the Ancient Fairy Dragon for a seals.
Okay.
Tech cards. I have Samurai Destroyer in here, which is primarily for the Yubel matchup. I didn't play a single game against Yubel, so
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was kind of surprised. There was a Yubel deck that did top.
Okay. Just never got to it.
Yeah, I just never got to play them. So that's kind of what it's in there for. Or I guess if I have to battle against like a Dragoon or something like that. We also have Black Rose, which I forgot to mention about the field spells. So the effects of my Fire Dragons during main phase 1 cannot be negated. They're unaffected. And so you can go into Black Rose on your turn, blow up the board, and just like go after that if you have more follow-up.
Nice.
Didn't really go into this at all either, but it's still like a good tech option in certain situations. The one I went into a lot actually was the Black Rose Moonlight Dragon.
Okay.
And so just whenever it's synchroed, you can target a card and bounce it back to the hand.
Okay.
During testing against Jose, actually.
Yeah, shout out Jose.
Yeah, there was a moment where I went into this and bounced the U-Bell to keep from just like constantly attacking it.
Yeah.
I had to attack it a couple times to get to the 3 count attacks. But it does come up for like that, or just removing a problematic card from the board.
Yeah.
Now we go to the big money makers, the guys.
The guys.
So we have 2 Bident Dragon.
All right.
So basically what it does, it gets synchro summoned. You can target a level 4 lower fire dragon from your graveyard. You can special summon it back to the field. And then if you have attacked at least 3 or more times this turn, you can bring it back out from the graveyard as a quick effect. And if your opponent happens to have if there happens to be a spell or trap on the field, you can pop it. But that's a can. You don't have to do that part. Similarly, we have the Transcendent Dragon, which is not quite the same. When it's synchro summoned, you can force all your opponent's monsters into attack position. That never came up really. While he is on the field, your opponent cannot activate any card effects in the battle phase. So a lot of times what I ended up doing actually was going into him during my main phase where they couldn't stop me, and then having just full protection from everything, killing them right there.
Nice.
And then the boy.
The money card.
The money card.
Yeah, man.
Shout outs to Brian for having this, because I wouldn't probably have been able to really play the deck without Brian, so shout out to Brian.
We can't do a lot of things without Brian, man.
If you're at like a local level and just kind of playing on a budget, you may not necessarily need it, but for like highly competitive events, stuff like that, it is necessary.
You gotta play the cards for the big events, man.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah, I basically think of Trident as like assurance or insurance, whichever word, where just to make sure I can kill my opponent right here, we're gonna go into it.
Well, cool, man. That's great. What did you decide to side for this event?
So my side We're gonna also go into the money card. It's not as expensive as I thought it was now. We have 3 Heat Wave.
Heat Wave. They're still a little bit up there.
Yeah, it's
Speed
like,
duels are like $15.
Yeah, it's still like 15 a piece. I never sided these in. I didn't feel like I had to. And one of the big things with this deck is sometimes you'll side these in.
Yeah.
But if your opponent is like 5-heading it, and just like, okay, I'm gonna choose to go first because they're siding in all their going first cards.
Yeah.
And so I just never wanted this to be a dead card in hand. It's good.
It's good. Yeah.
But there's sometimes where you have to kind of think through, okay, if I put this in, will my opponent do it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
One of the rounds that I had a win against the mirror, so it was a TENPAI mirror, and my opponent chose to go first. And heat waved, and he couldn't do too much after that. So he heat waved, kind of did some stuff. I stopped it, started doing my stuff. Didn't go very far, just because like terraforming, searched the field spell, and just waited.
Yeah, I got you.
Was able to stop him through his stuff, because at that point he had prosperity to 9 of his monsters away.
Oh my.
So it's just like, okay, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we were.
I got you.
The one that did come up a whole lot was the 3D barrier. And this is for decks, like the mirror match, calling synchro. It's also solid against like voiceless voice, call ritual, stuff like that. And then mainly for like branded as well, because branded's another deck that that I have a lot of respect for. There's another card called Simul Archfiends, which does something kind of similar. I could not find a full playset of it, so I was just like, well, we'll do that. As far as some of the other hand traps in the side, we have 3 Ghost Bell.
Okay.
This is for your snake eyes. It can come up in the TENPAI mirror, voiceless, stuff like that. So shout out to Nate for having these, because I was just like,
oh, Nate.
Yeah, I was like, Nate, would you happen to have 3 Ghost Bell on you? And
He's got
like,
a lot of stuff.
He's like, let me check. And so he goes, looks, and he's like, here you go. I was like, cool.
Let me check the
I don't
arsenal.
have to write a new deck list. I can go with the one that I have printed out, because I couldn't find mine. And then we have 2 Nibiru.
Okay.
I didn't feel like 3 was necessary, because a lot of the decks that this would be for can just kind of play through it or play around it, stuff like that. But it's still a good card for certain matchups, so I felt that at least 2 was necessary. Now we get to the problematic cards. We have 3-dimensional dimensional shifter.
Man.
I don't like playing it.
Nobody does.
No, but there's I have to admit there are some matchups where it does come up and it is very helpful, especially against Snake Eyes. TENPAI actually has from what I saw at least, a decent matchup against Snake Eyes. But having this in just really helped. But also having it for like the occasional like Light Sworn or Tier player or something like that.
Yeah.
There's just a few other decks that it'll come up against. And then just to be also uber toxic, we have a Decro Valley.
Okay. Yeah.
Which that is the card that gets sided in for Ancient Fairy Dragon. So you have your field spell, you go through the line for Dizulkin, Ancient Fairy Dragon, pop the field spell, add this, you go into your Dizulkin, set Imperm or Droplet or whatever, activate this, and then hope that your opponent can like go through it.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Well, that's super awesome, man, that you guys went out there. Did you feel like how did you feel the day going into the tournament?
So my goal was just to try to go like get the invite, so I got that part. And it was just kind of weird because I'm not used to being at more of the top tables.
Yeah.
I'm usually about like 20 to 30, somewhere in there.
Right.
And so just starting out the day at like table, I think it was 6 or 9, somewhere like that. And then we went up to 5, to 4, down to 5. Round 3 was against Branded. I got my butt handed to me, pretty decidedly. Gimmick Puppet Nightmare do be a card.
Yeah.
He summoned it pretty much every turn that he could. I didn't have the outs. I couldn't do anything about it. It is what it is. Then after that, I went down to table 15. Played against Plant Deck.
Okay.
Super easy matchup.
Shout out to that.
I hate to admit, I was just like, okay, like maybe this will be tricky. I don't know, and just no, I was able to absolutely kill him.
Nice.
But then after that, it was just like top tables from there, like 5, 4, 6. I think the last match that I had was at table 5.
Cool, man.
I was actually right next to Owen as well. So I was just like, oh, Owen's playing Centurion today. Okay, cool. It was fun. One other funny situation with that is we go up to look at the round 1 pairings. I look in my bag, and I don't see my playmat.
Ooh.
So we played the whole regional without a playmat.
Oh, TJ, you're funny, man.
So I'm just like, oh, well, okay. I guess that's what
awesome.
we're doing.
Dude, imagine losing to somebody without a playmat. Huh?
Yeah. They did, Pandemonium did like a raffle and everything like that. I'm like, please, can I get a playmat so I can like just not feel naked playing today?
Yeah.
But we finished it out, and it was good. That last misplay last round cost me. Because I know if I had the extra TENPAI, we could have gone through what Snake Eye board he had. But,
well, I've already told you this before. I've been paying attention to your journey, man.
Yeah.
You know, I've known you for 3 or 4 years now, man. So it's really cool to see somebody come up like that and go to a bigger event and start topping and stuff. And now you got your invite to Nat. So you planning on going to Austin this year?
I'm not sure. I have to sit down and budget for it, but if I'm able to, then I'm gonna try.
Definitely, man. Well, Nats we went last year to North Carolina or South Carolina, wherever Riley is. Sorry.
One of those, yeah.
Yeah, but we went out there and it was super awesome. And I know Austin is gonna be 10 times more of the fun, dude. So I hope to see you out there, dude. The profile was great. Congratulations again, man.
Thank you for having me.
Hopefully we get more profiles from you soon, dude.
I'm gonna try.
Let's get it, Combo. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Peace.